I love the fact we can go to AJ at any time and have a big play, and that's something that we haven't had in so long. We have guys who can go out there and change the outlook of the game from the receiver position. We know we can get the ball to him, and I think that's a plus that we haven't been able to do in so long, man. Even the Super Bowl year, it was wide receivers. We had Alshon, but not to the caliber of AJ, man.
Yeah,
so that's crazy.
He's the best since T.O. Barrett.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for hanging with us today on this Tuesday, September 13th. We are Sports Take, JAKIB Sports YouTube Network. He's Barrett Brooks. He's Derek Gunn. I'm Rob Ellis. We're talking Birds. We're talking Eagles, looking ahead a little bit to the Vikings, but first still sort of looking back at what went down against the Detroit Lions. Again, of course, the Eagles won the game 38-35, and that's really the bottom line to come away with a W. But there were some things that you liked, some things you didn't like. Let's go positive first here, guys. Once again, and we know this is the identity in a lot of ways, even though they may be trying to get away from it a little bit, this team was able to run the ball. You had Miles Sanders running very well. You had Jalen Hurts running well. They are able to pound the ball when they need to. That's for sure. It was a good running day in general for the Eagles. And the nice thing is, that's something you can lean on if maybe all else is not really going your way. So once again, still a solid running team.
Of course they can do that. That's always going to be an ace in the hole. You always got that ace, you know what I'm saying? It's like up their sleeve. Like if you're cheating when you're gambling, you got that ace in your sleeve. That's what makes this team not necessarily lucky, but, you can always rely on that. But there are some things that, that we do well as far as the weapons we have. I love the fact we can go to AJ at any time and have a big play. And that's something that, we haven't had in so long. We have guys who can go out there and change the outlook of the game from the receiver position. We know we can get the ball to him, and I think that's a plus that we haven't been able to do in so long, man. Even the Super Bowl year, it was wide receivers. We had Alshon, but not to the caliber of AJ, man.
Yeah,
so that's crazy.
He's the best since T.O. Barrett.
Yeah, exactly.
I love how Miles Sanders is running with authority. He's running with a purpose.
Yes,
and we understand why. Miles will never admit this openly because, as all players do, they're not going to give the general public any sense that what is said about them will affect them. But I guarantee you, whether he's read it firsthand, listened to it on radio or TV, Miles Sanders knows everything that has been said about him in terms of not being a durable back. You can only count on him in limited situations or for a certain duration of a season. This is Miles Sanders' money year, okay? Miles Sanders, we all agree, is not just a game breaker. He can be a game changer when he gets the ball in his hands, whether he's running between the tackles, hitting the hole, or catching the ball in a swing pass, a bubble screen, whatever the case may be. Cross your fingers. What did he have? 15 carries, 13 carries, something like that?
Yep.
I don't see Miles' touches increase a little bit more. He had 13 carries, and he had 2 catches, so he had 15 touches. I think.
Oh no, I think they're gonna have to.
They'll increase it, but I'm saying, he had a couple games in recent years where he's had 25, 26 touches.
Yeah,
I think for him that might be a little bit too much, and obviously the game situation calls for different things. I get that, I do, but I think to keep him in a safe zone, right around 20 touches is the best case scenario for him.
Oh yeah,
he is a guy you have to preserve. I mean, the injury history is real.
No
there's no bell cow to him.
Yeah, no, he's not a bell cow. Yeah, and that's why, look, some of that load is going to be taken away by Hurts. And you don't want Hurts rushing 17 times, which we'll get into, but he's going to take some of those. And Scott and Gainwell are going to get some touches too. So I don't know. I don't really mind that number for Miles. I agree with you, Gunner. You could increase it a little bit, maybe like 15, 16, 17, but that's not a bad little formula, I think.
No, he's not Derrick Henry, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's not a lot of Derrick Henry running backs in the National Football League. You have more running backs closer to Miles Bill than you do to Derrick Henry. I mean, you got some big backs like Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt, some stouter backs, yes. But most of your backs, I mean, look at Dalvin Cook. Dalvin Cook has injury problems because he is a smaller back.
Yes.
But Dalvin Cook is a game changer. When he's healthy, he's a game changer, and that's Miles' category. Now, people keep talking about pay to man. Well, I think the fact that because Miles has a limited amount of touches he's going to get, it's going to hurt him in some ways financially. He'll get a decent contract, whether it's from the Eagles or whoever else is out there. I don't think he'll make the money of a Derrick Henry, because Derrick Henry, I think, is riding on borrowed time. He carries the ball so much. We talked about this several times. It just blew me away how many touches Derrick Henry had in 8 games last year and almost had 1,000 yards rushing. And, oh, by the way, then he missed a significant portion of the season because he got nicked up.
Yeah.
Backs like that, the Earl Campbells, the John Riggins,
Adrian
those
Peterson,
type of
those days are done.
Yeah, man. Yeah. You can't do that to today's backs.
Yep.
Well, do you think that's why, because when you look at it, the matchup of the century, I thought was Saquon and him, and Saquon won the day because he's more versatile.
Right.
They're figuring out ways to stop Henry now.
Yes.
They're trying.
Yes. Well, and what do you respect in terms of the passing game there with Tennessee?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, see, that's another thing. So I mean, I look at the backs in the league, and I think Saquon is probably right now the best back as far as versatility, everything he brings to size, speed, quickness, catching out in the backfield, and when healthy. I don't think there's another back that can compare with him. And I think the closest guy around that, it could be Miles Sanders. You know what I'm saying? I think they cut
second in the entire league.
Well, no, I mean talking about as far as understanding how to play and the versatility that Saquon has.
Yeah.
What about Jonathan Taylor, DeAndre Swift?
I think Jonathan Taylor doesn't have the receiving acumen that Saquon has.
Kamara is a great receiver. He's
Alvin
not
Kamara.
quite the runner some of those guys are.
Yes.
Yeah, and he's a little banged up too right now. But yeah, so that absolutely, the running game there, and then some. And AJ Brown, what a debut! I mean, what a debut for AJ Brown. 10 catches, 155 yards, guys. It seemed like they were really able to hit up on those slants with him. A couple deep shot, the one at the end of the second quarter, but it was a lot of over the middle kind of stuff where they took great advantage of his skill set, and obviously he and Hurts have that chemistry, man. So that was big. And
that's fine because he's one of those receivers. He will get you those yards after the catch because of his physicality. You look at a lot of today's receivers, even the great ones, when they see that those defenders coming to converge, they get down in a hurry. Mm-hmm. AJ Brown's going to challenge you until you put him down. Now there's a good and a bad with that, because there's concern that, will his knees hold up? I guess he had a knee issue, which cost him playing time last year. But you know what? He's not going to just take punishment. He's going to dish out some punishment as well.
Yes,
play where he drugged the guy trying to tackle him inside the 5-yard line yesterday. That's what you're going to get from AJ Brown.
That was a 54-yarder then when he did that, right?
He's amazing.
Yeah,
I just just look at the guy, man. He looks like he's built kind of like a running back is.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm amazed that I said this to you guys before that he and Metcalf were in college together, and they're both like Adonises. Like, that was some serious recruiting. Whoever landed those two, man. Great work. Kudos.
Remember the pictures that came out of both of those guys working out for the draft?
Yeah.
When they were in the locker room?
Oh, yeah.
Like,
that was ridiculous.
What's going on here?
My favorite pictures was when DK was talking to Pete Carroll, and Pete Carroll took off his shirt in his office.
Oh, yeah.
DK man said, "Look at my physique." And, speaking of Pete Carroll, I can't believe that man's 71 years old. He does not look 71 years old.
Yeah, he looks good, man. And
my goodness,
he is motoring up and down the sidelines too. Like, that dude
jumping around everything else.
Yes.
Yeah, he's in ridiculous shape.
Good night.
He is.
Oh my goodness.
He is.
Sorry to get off course, but
no, it's okay. All right, so let's jump over here. And not to say that was all the good. There were certainly other good. Lane Johnson, we mentioned a little bit earlier, but all right, I want to start with this one as far as the bad goes. So Detroit converts on 9 of 14 third downs, but 6 of 8 in the second half. Like, if you can't get off the field on third down, you're dead in that league. That's an awful stat.
Same problem they had last year.
Yep.
Same problem. Now, you have a better collection of talent, and you still have that same issue. Again, first game, the front liners didn't play in the preseason. There's a lot of rust there, of things to work on. I expect that. I expect to see that much more improved Monday night, and that's a lot to ask when you're looking at a Vikings team with the depth of weapons they have that is known for picking up third down conversions. That's going to be an interesting concept to watch Monday night. Will this Eagles defense improve against that Vikings offense in third down situations when Kirk Cousins has so many different directions he can go in?
Yeah. Well, there's a reason why those numbers are so telling on third down. It all stems from their inefficiency on first down.
There you go.
There's a lot of short yardage.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, so it's not 3rd and 10,
right.
2nd and 10. It's more so 2nd and 4, 3rd and 2.
Yeah.
Because they're having so much success on first down. You got to stop that. Hence, that's why we were talking about the big fella coming in playing, Davis. Why isn't Davis in there on first down? That should be his down. First and second down, he should not be off the field. Now, why is it that he's off the field? That's the question I'm asking you guys. What do you think?
I think they're worried about his conditioning, Barrett.
I think it's the money. I think it's the people in front of him.
See,
I think there's a respect factor. There's a respect factor.
Two great reasons right there.
Yeah.
Him being in shape, number one.
Yeah.
Also, 1A or whatever, the money that's in front of him.
Yeah, man.
Fletcher making 14. Off the top of my head, Hargrave's making a nice salary
about
too.
10, 11.
Let me tell you something. That's $25 million in your 2 frontline D tackles. You're not going to not have them on the field on first down. You're not.
So what do? You change up the scheme then. To me, you run a 50 front. You put Davis head up over the nose, Hargraves on one guard, Fletcher Cox on the other guard, and that's what you run to stop the run.
Yeah.
But they've got to figure out a way to stop this bleeding. They ran trap play for
over
they ran
and over.
51-yard run was a trap play.
And they ran it a ton.
Right up the middle. That's the easiest play in football. That's what you run when you're in Pop Warner football.
Yeah.
You run that in high school.
Barry, at what point of the game should that have been a red flag? Because they kept running it third quarter, fourth quarter. At what point of a game, when somebody hits you in the mouth out of the gate on a trap play for 50 yards, at what point should they have made an adjustment?
Well, the adjustment is you would think you would make the adjustment with the guys up front. But you can't make the adjustment with the guys up front. They have to continue to play aggressive football. They've got to get up the field. But what you do have to do is have your linebackers play it better. They got to figure out a way to go up and stop, the angles. Because what the trap play does, you influence the 3 technique to get up the field. So you influence Hargrave and Fletcher to get up the field because that's what they do. Then you pull the backside guard and kicks them out. But when you do that also, the front side tackle and the backside tight end, they have great angles on the linebackers and the safeties from those positions. So instead of them waiting to come and get blocked, they got to have the initial burst to get downhill and meet the blockers in the hole as opposed to getting blocked past the hole. And that's what was happening. The linebackers have to do more as far as stopping that trap play. You would think it'll be the 3 technique. It's more so it's more so the linebackers reacting and getting there to clog the hole up. If they don't clog the hole up, it's going to be like a track meet. But you can't make those defensive linemen temper down because it's a trap play. They've got to get up the field, create havoc on run plays, like the zone plays and stuff like that. You can't allow them to do that. You can't allow them to not be aggressive getting up the field.
So the question is, where's the adjustments from the coach?
Well, the coach has to talk to the linebacker. Hey, guys, you guys got to make that play. I know it's kind of hard, but we're trying to – I'm watching the game right now. Same thing. They run the same play for 9 yards right there. 51 yards. Then they ran it for 7 yards. Yeah. They just ran it again for 9 yards right here. This is all in the 2 drives.
What do you say to what Dan says, what Sill says here, Barrett?
Let's see. 50 front center, 10 yards. Yeah.
What do you
see?
think?
Yes. I mean, exactly. You got to get up. You got to penetrate, man. See, and that's what he means by when you're a tilt. That means your body's like this, and you're getting up the field. You're playing up the field. You got to get up the field. I asked Dan, if they're running trap, you guys can't really not play, aggressive. You got to get up the field regardless. What your scheme is, the defensive line has to get up the field. Those linebackers have to make the play. The linebackers are the biggest influence on stopping that play because they got to come in and field.
You're disappointed the way White, Edwards, and/or Reddick would, however, we're
and the safeties.
We should get Dan on here. Let's get Dan on here to discuss this. Come on, Dan.
Yeah.
Jump on, Dan. Dan, I know you're watching. Tell Xander to get you on, man, because I love Barrett's perspectives. When I sit down and
he's a defense. He's
I know.
not get him on because he'll tell you he's got to get up. He's not worried about the trap play. They don't pay him to worry about the trap play. They pay him to get up the field and create havoc. Because on other run plays, it's great because now you're reestablishing another line of scrimmage, like zone plays. Yep. You're pressing them back and you're shutting the running lanes off.
Yep.
It's just those precise plays, like those and draw plays, are the hardest plays for a defensive lineman to play because you got to be aggressive getting over the field. We got to send Dan a link.
Well, here's what I don't get.
Yeah,
I don't understand how this went on the whole game.
That's what I said. I don't get where's the adjustment.
It happened on the second play, which is the Swift rips it off, and it's still happening. Late third, fourth quarter.
Yes. So that's how I was always told. Yeah. How you stop a draw play, how you stop those type of trap plays inside. You got to have somebody from the linebacker position who can read it well and get up the field.
Yeah, and look, this is, for whatever the reason is, whether he's not in shape, whether it's just because of the price or whatever, you got to have your best players on the field, man.
Yeah, out and out.
Yes. That's a little troubling to me.
And you can't say that he's out of shape. You can't say he's out of shape because the game had just started. He hadn't even been on the field yet.
The
so
linebackers
linebackers
have to do a better job of coming down and plugging the gap. Whether it's taking on the guard to plug the hole, they've got to do a better job. I thought they did a poor job of plugging the gaps on those trap plays.
Yep, exactly. And a poor job of tackling. Just like on the touchdown. Yep. On the touchdown with Williams. They had him dead to rights. They stopped him, but nobody wrapped him up.
Yeah.
It'd have been a 3-yard loss.
Yep.
But he ended up bouncing off those mistakes. He had 3 guys there. They kind of knocked themselves off the play, and he's able to walk into the end zone.
Yeah.
Those are the little things you can't do.
Absolutely. So let me get to another one here, and this is preparation coaching, because we saw it early last year. 10 penalties, 61 yards. You had too many men in the huddle multiple times. You had false starts multiple times. You had delay of games. I mean, this is the kind of stuff that reeks of unpreparedness, and that's what that was.
I'm not surprised.
You know what also is?
Because they didn't play any preseason games.
Yes.
They didn't play.
They haven't played well together.
No. There was a lot of sloppy football across the National Football League.
It wasn't just the Eagles, and it wasn't just this game. It was everywhere. Still, I mean, we're talking about the Eagles.
When you're sitting back and you're watching the game, and you see all these type of penalties or not getting up to the line fast enough, you know what that comes from? That comes from them not being
fatigue
around each other, and fatigue was a huge issue, especially the third and fourth quarter. They got out toughed in the third and fourth quarter. They were getting up slow. I mean, that's not a team that I thought I would see out there. I would think they would be a little more in shape, but I don't think they've done enough to be in order to get in game shape. You got to play games.
Yeah, but I'm shocked that you would say that, because you said all week leading up to this game, you expected to be a lot of rust and fatigue because they didn't play in the preseason. So to hear you say you were shocked, I'm not shocked, because I'm basing it on what you said.
Yes.
It turned out to be exactly what we talked about last week. They didn't have any significant game reps, and they were suck and win.
Suck and win. And that's something that you have to play in order to be in game shape. Like, you can go out there and run 1,000 40s. You can be the most tip-top shape in the world.
Right.
But all right, put it. Most guys and gals on the stream are athletes. I would venture to say workout or something. The workouts that you do with plyometrics is totally different from the workouts you do with pumping iron, lifting weights.
That's right. Yeah.
That's totally different from Pilates. That's totally different from riding a bike.
Yeah.
And yoga. Exactly. It's just a different. It's a different way of getting in shape. Each one of those things gets you in shape for doing that thing.
Yep.
But it's not the same shape. You're not getting the same shape with doing a Stairmaster than you would get with going out and running on the pavement. You running on a treadmill is not the same shape as you running out there on the street doing street work. Riding a bike outside is totally different from you riding a bike in a cycle class.
Right.
It's totally different. Your body is added, weight when you're out there running. When you're when you're on the treadmill, it's not the same because it's pushing your legs.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You got that resistance when you're running on the ground.
I wonder, Barry, I'll ask you, do you think they're willing to sacrifice some of this early in the year to not beat these guys up?
Yes.
Yeah. So, I mean,
absolutely.
They have to know there's going to be some of this. Yeah.
Well, they knew this was going to happen. That's why you didn't hear a lot of the talk. You didn't hear a lot of them talking about being in shape or anything. You didn't hear their coaches say that because they knew this. Yeah. They predicted this. They understood that the only way these guys will get in shape to play an entire game is playing an entire game. Yeah. Now the players see what they have to do to get in better shape to go out there and play.
I mean, the problem is this was fine against Detroit. You don't win against Minnesota with all of this.
No. Well, you lost Derek Barnett on a non-contact play, right?
Yep.
Bad luck. Just bad luck.
You know, you don't beat a Washington team.
No,
right.
With
there
that
you go.
Type of effort.
There you go.
That type of effort.
Yeah, people don't want to hear that. People don't want to hear it. But
tackling was sloppy. Offensive line pass protection, even though Shane Steichen seems to be okay with it, wasn't good enough. You didn't execute a lot of it after the game. I was listening to Brandon Graham this morning. Brandon Graham was on WIP this morning. I'm listening to Brandon Graham. One of the things Brandon said was like, flat out, the offense bailed us out. And defensively, we got a lot to improve on. And in particular, he talked about just fundamentals. They were not good fundamentally.
Yep.
Exactly. So that's not a good sign. Now it's a correctable for sure. It's correctable. I think there's enough talent. That's the problem. Like you have too much talent for this to have been the lack of pressure they got on a guy like Goff for the team to be able to do what they did to you in the second half with 3 drives of more than 70 yards for touchdowns and to be able to convert 6 of 8 on the second half. That's a really awful effort in the second half, which some of that speaks to, maybe conditioning. Like I think the first drive was like punch in the mouth. Okay. You settle yourself in. Then they settled down. Then maybe they started to get tired in the third quarter. I do wonder what that was.
Well, I also say, and it's way too early to even debate this, but we've been glowing reviews on all of this special talent on defense. And I brought it up before. I've seen too many teams where you have an all-star defense, but sometimes it just doesn't mesh. Now, we can't even debate that until 5 or 6 games into this. We're debating it now. Yeah. We're attributing it to a lack of cohesiveness because they didn't play in the preseason and a lack of stamina because they haven't had game reps. And now that's something to closely watch because I've seen this happen too many times in all my years of covering football. You could have an all-star defense. Sometimes it doesn't fit. It doesn't fit. The personnel doesn't fit the scheme.
Well, look at Washington back when they had Dion. They had everybody, man. Yeah. They had every star there is playing for them. That defense was put together and it was all world, but they didn't do anything against anybody that year.
Right.
So look, guys, I'm looking at this. We're in the fourth quarter. I got the game on this first quarter, 10 minutes, 12 seconds left. First play out the gate. They run a little read option with Hurts. He takes it for a first down. He takes it for 10. Then 3 plays later, it's 3rd and 15, and I'm watching the pass. I'm watching the pass blocking. Both tackles got pushed back, but they ran him around the horn. But Sayamalo gets pressed back, and that's why Jalen had to run. And then I sit back and hear all these guys talking about Jalen. He ran too fast. He should have stayed in the pocket. Well, he can't stay in the pocket because they brought the tackles around the horn.
Right.
And then your starting left right guard gets pressed back. He's getting pressed back. He can't step into a pass. He can't sit in the pocket because he's getting pressed back. So he takes off running. He gets 15 yards, keeps the sticks moving, gets the first down. How can you talk bad about his play and saying, "Oh, he couldn't do it"? He couldn't do it.
Yeah. He had no lane to throw.
He was doing what he had to do.
Exactly. Essentially. He won that game for us. Yeah. And people want, he's going and reverting back to no, he's not.
No.
You give him time, he'll push the ball down the field.
Yep.
But if your guys are getting their butts kicked up front, see, I didn't cuss. I said, getting your butts kicked up front.
Good
you
work.
See you guys getting your butts kicked up front, then you can't do anything about that.
Yes.
But this offensive line will be okay. Believe that. Let's
step aside, and when we come back, Jeff McClain from the Philadelphia Inquirer is going to join us. We'll talk to Jeff. He was down there today with Gannon and Steichen and Michael Clay, the special teams coach. So we will hear, and he was in Detroit, of course, from Jeff McClain when we get back. Don't go anywhere. Derek Gunn, Barrett Brooks, Rob Ellis. We're Sports Take, JAKIB Sports YouTube Network. Let's talk Pro Action Restoration. Yes, Pro Action Restoration is the place to turn to if you have a home or business and you've experienced the inconvenience of water, fire, smoke, mold damage to your property. It is a trying time. It's a scary time, right? But Pro Action is around and they're on call 24 hours, 7 days a week to assist you. I've gone through it. It was a Saturday. I called them. They got right out. They cleaned it up. The crew was professional. The price was reasonable. It was exactly what I was looking for. And you will be thrilled with them as well. They are a licensed, bonded, fully insured company. They've been serving the tri-state area for more than 2 decades. Pro Action will work in conjunction with your insurance company as well. Again, water, fire, smoke, mold remediation, you name it, they can handle it. Take this number down, 610-623-3760, 610-623-3760. You can reach them online as well at proactionrestoration.com. That's proactionrestoration.com.